Remember that feeling, New Disney movie coming out, all that anticipation, the magic. Or how about that pure escapism, stepping right into a Disney park?
Yeah.
Lately, though, that magic, it's feeling a little, I don't know.
Fading.
Yeah, fading, and not just because, well, we grew up.
Right.
Today's deep dive, all about the House of Mouse.
Go ahead.
Can this iconic brand recapture that old magic? What do you think?
Well, it's interesting. The narrative around Disney, it's changed fast.
Yeah.
They always seemed untouchable. Like this giant behemoth.
Right.
The reality is way more complicated, especially lately.
Yeah, if you look at their performance, it's
Yeah, not pretty.
not pretty. That Disney stock has really taken a tumble, nearly 60% down from its peak.
60%? That's steep.
That's not a dip, that's a plunge.
A free fall.
And the analysts we were watching that Learn to Invest video, they're not mincing words.
No sugarcoating.
Pointing out shaky revenue, unpredictable cash flow.
And even the theme parks.
Yeah, the theme parks, which were always a sure thing, those are even showing signs of strain.
Right, and that's where those numbers, they stop being just numbers,
And become real.
real consequences. For the average Disney fan, think about it. You save, you plan that dream trip,
Right.
and then bam, ticket prices through the roof, crowds everywhere.
And the experience itself.
Not what it used to be.
It makes you wonder.
Makes you wonder if that money could be better spent.
Somewhere else.
Opportunity cost. It's a real thing.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the money. It's
The value.
the value. What are you getting for it? The experience.
Exactly.
And speaking of experiences, let's shift gears from the parks to the big screen. You remember when a new Disney movie,
Guaranteed hit.
it was a guaranteed hit. Those days, I don't know, they're feeling a little
Goofy.
goofy, not so golden age anymore.
Not a
We're talking Strange World, Lightyear,
flops
flops. And that one video, what was it called? Disney's Perfectly Happy.
with their catastrophic downfall.
Yes. That's it. Their argument, it's basically Disney's known for
Rehashing.
rehashing, not captivating storytelling.
And that might be a little traumatic.
Right.
But there's a grain of truth there. Their approach to stories shifted. Think back. Disney Renaissance, the 90s.
Oh,
Those films,
Yeah.
celebrated for originality, captivating, characters you love.
A Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin.
Right, classics. But then, as that video pointed out, Disney, they started buying up studios.
Yeah.
Pixar and...
So they stopped taking as many risks.
Exactly. Became reliant on the sequels, the prequels.
Like bets.
Lost that spark. Maybe. It's a question worth asking.
It's like your favorite band,
No.
right? Releases the same album again and again, just slightly different versions.
Right.
Even the most diehard fans are going to want something new eventually.
It's franchise fatigue.
Yeah.
Something Disney needs to be very, very aware of.
Yeah.
And this content crisis ties into a much bigger thing happening with Disney. Corporate activism. Even something called ESG scores.
Okay, now hold on to your hats, folks, because this is where things get really interesting.
ESG scores, huh? Sounds kind of complicated.
Yeah, like something out of
A galaxy far, far away.
Exactly. But they matter. Big time. Especially for a company like Disney.
They do. Think of them like report cards, but for corporations.
Report cards. Okay, I can get behind that. So what kind of stuff are they getting graded on?
How green they are. Environmentally, social responsibility, how they run the company, the governance stuff. Basically, are they trying to be ethical, diverse, sustainable, all that?
Okay, so a good score is like a gold star for good behavior. Gotcha. But how does this tie back to Disney and the stuff they're struggling with?
Well, investors, they're paying more and more attention to these scores. These huge GE firms managing trillions, places like BlackRock, ESG is a big deal for them.
So if Disney doesn't have a good score,
Investors might go elsewhere.
and when you're talking about Disney, we're not talking small potatoes here.
Not at all. Even a little shift in where investors put their money. Huge impact.
See, this is what I find fascinating. You've got this tension now, right? Between, some people might say, corporate values and then what the audience actually wants.
Exactly. And those two things, they don't always line up.
No, they don't.
You've got folks saying, hey, Disney's just trying to appeal to everyone, right? More diversity in their movies, stories that reflect, the world as it is now.
And then the other side of the coin.
To the flip side, they say Disney's pushing an agenda. It's hurting the stories, turning off those diehard fans.
So it's like they're walking this tightrope.
A tightrope that's getting thinner and thinner.
Right. And you start to wonder is it even possible to balance it all, keeping those core fans happy, but also, evolving?
That's the million-dollar question. No easy answers.
And it's easy to get lost in all of this, right? The arguments, the hot takes, you forget. There are real people involved, the folks who work at Disney,
Right.
the fans, the families who've made Disney traditions. They're all caught in the middle of this, too.
It's not just some, intellectual exercise.
Yeah.
It has real consequences.
Yeah.
So given all that, can Disney right the ship?
That is the question. We've heard rumors, cost cutting, shaking up the leadership, maybe even selling off parts of the company.
Big moves.
And then there's this idea, and I don't know what you think, but going all in on the franchises, like doubling down.
Which, given what we talked about earlier, maybe not the best idea. Franchise fatigue is real.
Feels like trying to put out a fire with gasoline,
Apt analogy. You might get a quick burst of excitement, but...
Not sustainable.
Exactly. The real question is, can Disney remember what made them special to begin with?
Those original stories.
Creating worlds that felt, I don't know, magical. Transporting you, not just relying on nostalgia.
So less boardroom, more, trusting that gut feeling?
The creative spark.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And inclusivity, good stories. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
They can coexist.
Absolutely. The best stories often reflect the real world in all its messy, beautiful diversity.
Okay, so that's one thing. What else? What else could they do?
Listen to the fans.
Okay.
Really listen. Not just the loudest ones, but the people who love Disney. Engage with them. Make them feel like they're part of it, not just, walking wallets.
It's that connection, that shared magic. All right, last one. What's the final bit of wisdom to help Disney out?
This one's simple.
Yeah.
Remember why you tell stories. It's not just about the money. It's about connecting with people, inspiring them, making them feel something.
Something Disney used to be so good at.
Exactly.
So will they get it back? That crown? Rulers of the entertainment world? Or is this it? Another Hollywood fairy tale gone wrong?
Well,
that, my friends, is for you to decide. We've laid it all out there. The good, the bad, the different viewpoints. Now we want to know what you think. It's almost like, one of those classic Disney movies, right?
oh, I see it.
Good versus evil, the magic, the greed, those soaring highs, and then bam, the fall.
It's true, though, right?
Yeah.
Rarely one bad guy, one single mistake. It's more like all these things building up.
It's the little choices.
Exactly. And those choices,
Yeah.
they have consequences. But with Disney, you got to remember the world they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Changing so fast.
Not standing still.
No. And they've got competition. Yeah. Other giants in the entertainment industry. Plus, the way we watch stuff now, totally different.
Streaming, it's changed everything.
Right. And the audience. Forget it. So many options. They're savvy, they know what they like, and they're not afraid to move on if something doesn't grab them.
They're impatient.
Disney's got resources, sure, but even for them, it's a lot to handle.
So let's say, just for fun, we could wave a magic wand, give Disney some advice, help them get back on track.
Right.
What's the top 3 things? What would you tell them?
First thing's got to be, remember what made people fall in love with Disney in the first place.
The stories.
Those original stories. Exactly. Building worlds that pull you in. It can't just be churning out sequels, banking on nostalgia. It's got to be fresh, exciting, capture the imagination.
Less boardroom, more, trusting the creative side?
That spark, exactly. And inclusivity. Doesn't mean a bad story.
Yeah.
Some of the best stories, they show us the real world with all its, different faces, different voices. That's what makes it interesting.
So that's one wish granted. What about number 2?
Number 2, listen to the fans.
Okay.
I mean, really, listen, not just the ones shouting the loudest, but the folks who've made Disney a part of their lives. Engage with them. Make them feel like they're part of something, not just there to spend money.
It's about building that backup, right? That connection, the shared experience. So last piece of advice to complete our magic spell here.
This one's going to sound basic, but remember why you tell stories. It's not about the bottom line. It's about connecting with people, making them feel something real, inspiring them.
Disney, they used to be so good at that.
They did. Whether they can get back to that, only time will tell.
So will they reclaim their crown? Will they rule the entertainment world again? Or is this it? Another Hollywood fairy tale gone wrong? That, my friends, is up to you to decide. We've given you the information, the different sides, the whole shebang. Now we want to hear from you. Head to our social media. Let us know what you think. Can Disney get that magic back?